October 16th, 2025. How's it going, guys? Well, I got another video for you. What are we going to talk about? Kansas City, Independence, Missouri. We're going to talk about crime. We're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about the homeless. And we're going to talk about the homeless and all the trash and everything they brought in. And there's a lot of it here in Independence. Now, I live in Independence over here, and you wouldn't believe the things I see. And I think I'm going to devote a little bit of time of taking some photos here and letting everybody see all the stuff that's here in Independence. Now, I try to keep my area that I live in here cleaned up. There's a lot of people in my area over here that put stuff out that don't, basically try to get rid of it. Sometimes they put stuff out and they figure, other people will come by and grab it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But then there's a lot of times there's just junk. It just sits out there for a long period of time. And then there's also ordinances too that say that, it's like I've went by people's houses here and I've seen refrigerators sitting in front of their house. Well, in Independence, basically, it states right there in their ordinance that you cannot have a refrigerator in front of your house. And there's several other reasons, not just because of trash, but because children used to climb in like deep freezers, get in refrigerators, and they would suffocate. Now that left side, don't think that's really, I guess, the case to have to worry about out here in Independence. I was out there today and I was talking about a house here in my area. And interesting. Well, we'll just see how far and long this goes here. But first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show here in Independence, there's another homeless bunch up here, a little ways back, up back behind where Big Boys is, where that, Big Boys is supposed to be like a church-related like group that owns that, but it sure doesn't look like a lot of these people get any help here. And I guess maybe, they get help to live in the woods and live in the trees and stuff and get rained on. We're going to show that right off the bat. And then we're going to take on down to 23rd Street night before last, where way back there were some guys about 3 years ago dealing pills from this station when me and my son come through there at by San Calagon. We were coming out of San Calagon, and these guys were actually counting pills out. Yeah. And what's interesting about this, these guys are back over there again. But now they got some sidekicks. They got some other gals that's also. And they're doing some other things down there that who knows. And I'm going to show that too because, the drugs go with the prostitution and stuff hand in hand. A lot to show here, guys. So let's get started. All right, guys, I want you to look at this first. It says, in Independence, Missouri, it is illegal to keep refrigerators and other household appliances outside in front yard for an extended period. These items are considered rubbish or a code violation under the City Property Maintenance Code. Now, hold on. All right, guys. Now, I went out there on 8/19, and they supposedly started a case. Rechecked on 9/10, and we're at what are we today? 10/16, and this was handwritten by them. Now I want to show that fridge. Now hold on first. All right, guys, you see this refrigerator here? Look at that. Now, that's been sitting there for months. Look at all this other stuff out here. But I want to show that because I have all this documented, and I've talked to people out there too. And like I say, we'll see where all this goes. But, like I say, when you're dealing with some of the left ones, you just don't seem like you can get stuff done. So let's get on with it. And I want to get to the deal here in Independence, but since I got this up already, we're going to show what was going on here at 23rd and Chrysler. Now these guys, they deal drugs. If you want to find drugs, this is a place station to go. They let them sit out in front. These guys, they look like they're homeless, which that's what they look, and they're dealing. But now they got a couple sidekicks. They got a couple gals out there, look like they're about 35 to 40 years of age. Two different vehicles. One's like in a, I don't know what that little car was, but I wanted to show this real quick. So let's just take a look at this. Let's see if I can dim this down just a hair so you guys can see this a little bit better. And let's see here. I can get this to go. Now hold on, guys. Let's just try this for a second. I'm going to go back here because now there is another homeless guy. He was trying to get out of Dodge here when we were sitting there. And this guy here, oh, I just love the backpack. I just love the backpacks. But we're going to look at this right here. Now, two guys when we first pulled up are over here, and they got those bikes. They got the bicycles. And this is just more amazing stuff on this. But this gal, I was thinking, well, if they're dealing pills, and this gal, she can run them to somebody else, you know, and make some profit off of them. I don't know what those pills are going for now. And then this one guy, one of the other guys, it's over here, one of the other ones, he had his shirt off. I can't even imagine a filling station allowing this. I think, is this a BP? I think it's still a BP. And really interesting. Now watch this. Let's see here. And there's going to be another guy that's going to cross over. And see that gal cross back behind there? Now this guy's got his shirt off. Boy, he looks like a winner. Nah, I don't think he's a winner. But they knew one another. And see, he's going to fall back in behind her. Now look at this. This is how some of that stuff's getting passed, man. Well, I guess Independence Police can't catch these people. Or I guess they can't retain them. Because it just keeps on flowing here. Isn't that interesting? And like I say, I had some videos that I posted way far back where these guys were actually counting the pills out. Unbelievable. And this can't be stopped here. Now, you know, 23rd Street, they had been down there doing pretty good. But like I said, the last couple of weeks, all that's picked up again there. And unreal. And then this morning, one of the gals that was crossed over here was there in a, I don't know if it was a Tahoe or Suburban. Let's see if I can find that. So hold on just a second here. But yeah, that's how, I mean, shoot, if you want drugs, man, this is a place to go here in Independence. So hold on. All right, guys. Yeah, it's still a BP. And when I went downtown here this morning, came back, see this vehicle right here? It's kind of run down. I don't know if that's a Tahoe or Suburban or something. But anyway, one of those gals that was there last night that was crossing back and forth was there again this morning, but there was two of them this time. And they were getting into this, like I say, whatever it is, Suburban, Tahoe, whatever. But this had a whole bunch of different things written on the window, like it said 80s or something, or I don't know what the deal was on it. Maybe they're trying to sell it, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they're stuck in the 80s or something else. I don't know. But let's see if we can see this real quick. And I'm just going to try to hold that right there. I think you can see one of them, but let me just see, watch this real quick. Let's see if I can do this in slow-mo too, so that it helps a little bit. That's a guy walking across there, but I don't know if you can see over here. Let me go back here. No, I think I still need to go forward because I don't think it's happened yet. I don't think she's walked across there yet. We'll see here if I'm right or wrong here. But they were crossing the street again. For some reason, they're crossing over back and forth. Oh, there it is right there. Now watch, in between. There was actually two of them. So you can see, yeah, they had shorts on, one of them did. Interesting. And I was thinking, man, now they're not just dealing pills, but now they got gals there too. This is a wonderland here at BP BP, what am I looking to say, station, the BP station here in Independence, Missouri. And then what's really funny is there's an Independence cop that pulls up after that. Oh, well, let me increase the speed here so we can get this done a little bit quicker. Well, look at that. There's the Independence finest there over here. And man, he ain't looking that way. Well, maybe they should be looking that way a little bit. What do you think, guys? I don't know. But that's this station, man. This station's a problem station. They closed this down for a little while even. And then it reopened again. I don't know. Well, I guess, they just keep changing management and using the same guys as the handymans, I guess, huh? So hold on, let's go on to the next one here. All right, guys. Now, if you can't get it down to 23rd in Chrysler, you can always come down to 40 Highway in Chrysler. The next one to the next 7-Eleven here, and back behind here, behind where Big Boys and the other ones are. This caught my eye this morning because this hadn't been here before. Somebody took a bed, and it looks like they got other stuff that they had covered, so I guess it wouldn't get wet, and they had it propped up over there. Well, I guess so they can have some fun over there. I noticed that there's some activity again up back behind the O'Reilly's Automotive Shop. And hold on just a second. Oh, yeah, guys, I just found an ancient picture. I was looking for a couple other things. Here's a good example here at the BP, how they sit. They're either here or they're passed out in front of the doorway. Isn't that where you want to go here in Independence, Missouri? Not me, but hold on. And here, this is just my imagination here in Independence up behind O'Reilly's, where these gals were hooking and drugged out. This one was so spaced out, she was just moving her head and bobbing around. Now look at this. Oh, there's many, many photos over the last several years here continuously. And these are just fairly recent ones. Everything is documented, dated, and everything else here in our great Independence in Kansas City, Missouri here. There's another picture. Well, you know what I bet? I bet some of these women are using some of these beds over here. I'm sure you can, you could probably have a good old romp over here. Yeah, I bet you could. A little bit of, what is it? Fentanyl, a little bit of meth. I'm sure you have a good old time here in Independence. What's interesting too, I wanted to show this again. Now this is a meth recovery place, and they like to go up here, and they like to, this car had one, under light, not like a headlight, I don't think. It was more like a running light underneath or something. Yeah, you can see the headlights here. But they sit up at the top of this hill. Now, this morning, when I went out early this morning, there was a guy that was on a bicycle in the middle of the street with a headlight on, sitting not in the parking lot here of the meth recovery place. He was out here in the center of the road. Now, this was at 4:50 a.m. in the morning. Now, what would somebody be? He wasn't going up or down on the bicycle. What was he doing? Now, they sit and they spot. They look for police, and they have their cell phones, and they can see if you're this far up on 47th Street here, East 47th Street South up here by Strike and Spear, you can see all the way to the top of the hill up there, Blueview. And then I got other ones up there on that end that also do that. Back and forth, back and forth. Well, it's something Independence should be looking at, because, there's some problems here. Very big problems. So hold on. All right, guys. So I left out here it was about 4:50 this morning. And this guy, you can't see it, but he is out in the middle of the street with a headlight on his bicycle in the middle of the street up by the meth recovery. He wasn't in the parking lot. He wasn't waiting at the door. He wasn't back up in there on their property. He was out in the middle of the city street here. Now, what would anybody be at 4:50 in the morning, be setting, or I shouldn't say setting, he was standing with the headlight facing up the street. So I want to see, I mean, this is just nuts. Now this is East 47th Street South here. So we're going to go on down here. I want to see what's going on. Doing all this drugs, it's like, they don't care, but I do care. And I don't like to see all this BS over here. So he's heading on up the hill now because he seen that I was pulling out. And this is that meth recovery place, if you guys don't know. That's where they all pile in there from meth. I think some, if they drink, but most of it's meth. And 4:50 a.m. in the morning. That's a little bit weird. What do you think, guys? I don't know. I go up, turn around, I come back. And he crossed over on the other side. So hold on. All right, I'm heading back down the hill. There he is over there. Let's see if I can lighten this up a little bit more. Yeah, my imagination. I don't think that's my imagination. Got a lot of crud, a lot of trash crawling around over here on this south side of Independence here. I don't know. Hold on. Oh yeah, guys, and when I come back from Raytown today, you see this house off to the right? This is like up by McDonald's. And if you're heading back towards 40 Highway, I've passed this in the last 3 months 3 times. There's been 3 Raytown cruisers here with 6 police officers at this house. Now, there's some bikers that live here at this house up here. Isn't that interesting? They got no trespassing and stuff. I wonder what's going on at this deal. And I wonder what Raytown's doing on this deal here. Because Raytown's been up here 3 times at this house. Interesting stuff. I just, I have so much that come across that I can't show everything that comes out because I just can't get it all out. But very interesting. And this pertains, here you go. It gets back into the drugs and the other stuff. I noticed today at this over here, at this, what is it, Syntax or whatever they call it, I noticed it had been cleaned up. I noticed all those ones that was hanging there and working on their vehicles, it was all gone. It was all cleaned up. That's good. It brings a lot of crud, trash, and everything else in this area. Not a good thing. So we're going to go on down. Hold on. All right, guys. So I made one more pass because I wanted to look at that over there by, like I say, Big Boys, that mattress and stuff. Now, these are some of the homeless that are down here, but this is another troubled place here. It's interesting how they allowed some of these places to bring in massage parlors and other stuff. That, you know what they say about the 24-hour massage parlors, don't you? I don't know if this one's 24-hour or not. That's the happy massage parlors there, guys. But I did notice that there was some other stuff sitting here, and there was a lot of them coming from over there by that Sinclair coming back this way. So right now we got 1, 2, I think there was 3 if I remember correctly. There's that white car there. Oh man, we have white cars. We have, hold on just a second. Let's see, wait a minute. Yeah, there's a third one over here. Yeah, there's a third guy over here. And we have these white cars going up and down, up and down. And they make sometimes 20 times, 40 times in a night. The same car. What are they doing? It's not DoorDash. It's not Uber. Well, what are they moving? I mean, I think that should be something somebody should be looking at too here. Yeah, because I don't know. That just seems really strange to me. I don't know. I got down here early this morning. Of course, I got down here after I dropped my friend off for he's taking some training, and there was two homeless that was down here on this back side right here, like where this truck was here and stuff. And you know what amazes me? During the pandemic, there was a massive amount of these haircutting salons that popped up. Well, now, wouldn't you think that might be some kind of a national security threat too? All these, because if you're funneling money and you got the cartel and you got drugs and you got all this other stuff, well, it's something maybe somebody should be looking at. I don't know. I mean, I bet we had, I don't know, I bet we had 60, 70 of these haircutting places pop up all over the city during that. Why was that such an important thing during the pandemic? But it's sure people weren't watching and looking at that stuff, were they? I don't know, guys. We don't know these things, do we? Now, hold on. And there's Big Boys. And as we go up here, there's that used to be a doctor's office there. Let me see if I can lighten this up because it's kind of, boy, the lighting is really, I got it lit and I got it lit. It's about 158. That's about as good as we're going to do. Be too bright. Used to be a doctor's office there. And then somebody turned this into a church and funeral home or something over here. So we get on up here. Let's see, I got to tone this down. It's just too bright, guys. Come on. What was interesting too is what I find interesting. Well, let me show you something here. This house during the pandemic had 4 brand new vehicles pop up with out-of-state tags on it. And I often wondered, how did these 4 vehicles, what were they planning on doing? What were they going to do to try to take over? 4 brand new vehicles. And this house had sat vacant for a long time. There was an old Mustang that sat here. And somebody grabbed it and everything. But now there's another dumpster down here. There's another dumpster. And it's just another thing that should be looked upon. Because it could be a threat. I mean, because these people had an agenda. And what agenda did they have? Now, I mean, was this something that they had a whole bunch of people in, but 4 brand new vehicles? That's kind of weird. And then they just sat there. They just sat there. Man, I don't know. But let's go on down here